I've read a few visual novels that have friends with benefits routes, and they were less than ideal. I like the concept in theory for subverting the typical vanilla romance with some melodrama before getting into a relationship and H scenes with a marriage epilogue and all that jazz. But as I just said, the few friends with benefits routes I read in Moege were flawed in various ways. Raiha's route in Marshmallow All the Way Home was the least bad, but had a weird, frustrating story about family expectations not explained till the very end. Nahoko's route in Under One Wing turned into a low-key abusive femdom relationship. Ageha's route in If My Heart Had Wings, let's just say she was so frustratingly obnoxious she went from my favorite heroine in the common route to my least favorite heroine in the whole series after finishing her route. After these 3 routes, I just assumed friends with benefits stories were just something not bound to work in visual novels since, well, I guess when you write high schoolers, there's gotta be some dumb, frustrating, immature character development to turn friends with benefits aspect into a real relationship. Thankfully, Chihiro Himukai Always Walks Away proves that not only can friends with benefits stories work, but they can be pretty dang good, mostly. So what exactly makes Chihiro Himukai actually work compared to the other titles? I would say the first thing is that both characters, the main character and the main heroine, are fully adult age. So they don't have to follow the typical high school age structure, and the characters are just generally more mature. Since the characters are more mature, they're much more communicative of what they want, which I consider an important aspect of a friends with benefits relationship. The characters' maturity also lends itself into the H scenes themselves. Outside maybe Ageha's first H scene in If My Heart Had Wings, the H scenes in the other friends with benefits routes I complained about didn't feel much different from your average eroge H scene besides a much lower amount of I love yous when compared to the usual romantic relationship. In Chihiro Himukai, the H scenes are generally more mature, with both characters actively actually trying to pleasure each other, not just pure male-targeted fan service, though obviously there's still a bit of that too. Chihiro Himukai also has little to no stupid melodrama. It's not that there's no depth or drama, far from it. There's clearly issues on why Chihiro doesn't want to commit to a relationship, and it's actually tackled relatively well. The other friends with benefits routes I've complained about have dumb melodrama that is either explained too late, not well justified at all, or both. Not only does Chihiro have issues, her and the MC have a bonus of having known each other through going to school together before, so it lessens the getting to know each other aspect and more on developing the relationship. However, I will admit Chihiro Himukai Always Walks Away isn't perfect in this regard. While I did say it has little to no stupid melodrama, it also doesn't really hammer down on Chihiro's issues as much as I was hoping it would. The obvious conclusion to the story was them eventually getting into a romantic relationship, and while I did like where it ended, it felt like the road there just happened a little too quickly and easily. I get this is supposed to be a short and sweet moe nukige with a unique theme, but I wish they spent at least another hour on the friends with benefits development so their final wholesome relationship just felt a bit more earned. However, outside that one complaint, I generally have nothing but praise for Chihiro Himukai Always Walks Away, the visual novel, and why I always consider it a recommendation on favorite beginner moege and short visual novels, since it's relatively wholesome and simple yet unique while still having some depth and development. It set a great template for potential future friends with benefits visual novel stories, and if other moege or cherage companies want to tackle friends with benefits with more depth but without the frustrations I complained about in other routes, I think a great friends with benefits route could come out of the visual novel medium. If you want to read this visual novel, it's thankfully short and sweet, just like this video, at roughly about 5 hours of read time according to VNDB. You can get it on Steam and with an 18+ patch on patch.moe, and as of 2024, you can get it on non-DRM stores like MangaGamer, JAST, and Denpasoft.